Sometimes it's about more than manifesting. You got to do the work. Welcome. I want to welcome you all back to another episode of the Keep It Uplifting podcast, where we constantly prove that change, growth, and the success that you seek is possible if you keep going, keep grinding, and keep it uplifting. I am your host, Uplifting, and I have with me back again, Rich Auntie.
I've arrived. I'm here.
I really want to thank you for coming back. Me and Rich Auntie, we typically have a reoccurring episode where we scour the internet and as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as people who are constantly improving ourselves, we look at certain things that capture our attention and we expound on them. We talk about them. This is a different type of show, right? You know, typically I have a guest, they share a story, or I've circled back with a guest and they're sharing a story of how they, you know, have had success and overcome obstacles, right? This for us is just us picking up some things that we thought were on the minds of others or feelings that other people may have as they're on their journey to be a better person, be a better leader, just be a better adult.
A better person.
Right?
It's literally kind of like how, you know what we're really doing though, bro? We're literally sharing our conversations with the world. Because we literally send each other stuff on, oh, what you think of this? We should talk about this. Or like, I send you something like, bro, like the one time I sent you that TikTok, and I was like, I can see you doing this in the future, like really impacting people's lives. Like, it's like when you know your friends and you know where they're going in life, and you just like, I feel like I always be speaking life into my good people. Like, I see this in your future.
I like that you say that though, because there was this thing that, and I'm actually, it's funny that you guided us this way, but I shared it earlier, but I want to play the whole clip in its entirety. And it's Ray Daniels, who's a person that's been in the music industry. I don't know him well. I just follow his podcast, and he says some, you know, very positive things, eye-opening things, common sense things that, you know, go on in the music industry. But this was a clip from him that I saw recently where he was talking about exactly what you're saying.
You bring him to Epic and he's in Atlanta, you in Atlanta. I'm like, why not? Who's better to make money with and build with than your friend? People in this business don't care to help you. But you know the only people that don't want to help you are the people that know that they ain't. Because that really believe in himself, he want to throw you the ball. Yeah. He want to see you win because he like, this is how we all win. And the that don't help you, they don't help you because if you come in the room, you're going to take their shit. That's what they don't want. I know that for a fact. His fate does not hurt yours. It is enough room for all of us. We've been told that lie, but that's not the truth. And that's the difference. You don't need it, but that doesn't mean someone shouldn't help you win. Because to me, that's what real do. They help feed their family, period. I want everybody around me to be rich because I love that. And I want to say everything that you do don't have
that. And that's exactly what you're saying, right? Like you're talking about, I breathe life into all of my people that I believe in or all of my friends. Like a real friend is going to breathe life into whatever your dream is, even if they can't see it, because that's how much you matter to them. That's how much they respect you. That's how much they revere you as a person.
Right.
You know? And just because you went in over there in a different space or a space that's maybe it's something they are pursuing, doesn't mean that we all can't eat, right?
Right.
What
I was going to say, to jump in real quick, when I heard that clip, all I could think about is my mother saying, you know, those ain't your real friends, right?
Everybody's mom said that before.
Yes, because you have those like, and it's so crazy because those moments, it's 36 years old. I remember those moments because I can pinpoint the characteristics that my mother saw in those people that now is very much no, you're not my
Right,
friend. Like,
right,
you know,
yeah.
so now you really start to like pinpoint those things like, oh no, you definitely ain't my friend because look, my mother told me a long time ago.
But it sucks because when your parents tell you you're in an emotional state at that point, right? Like something may have taken place and you may have, like for me, it was getting in trouble with my friends, but like me and my friend got in trouble together.
Right.
So, this is my friend, Mom. And she's like, they're not your friends if they gonna let you do something like that. They're not your friends if they're gonna get in trouble with you. Or, even the fact that my mom was right about my friend at that time putting the blame on me when we got into that situation.
Right.
But and his parents all over, like, your parents aren't always right. But at the same time, when they are, it stings.
Ooh, baby. And they don't sting a little bit. They leave impressions.
Right. It's a life lasting memory.
Right. But as I feel like really as you get older, the things that your parents say to you, it started clicking so much more in such a different light and realm that you be like, you know what, I appreciate you, but you ain't have to tell me like that.
Right. It's also the experiences that we have in life make us really connect with the things that they were trying to guide us on.
Oh, definitely.
Because when we think about it, we're like, oh, they're my parents. But really, they're people with experience. But as for someone who's supposed to be your friend, right? How can we used to work together, right? I just had Justin on.
Right.
We worked together.
We had good times.
Right. And the things is that all of these people are now sitting down with me as I'm having a podcast where I highlight my friends or the people that are doing positive, supernatural things that I see, right? Like great things in my life, not just the influencers or small business owners that I have on the show, but these are people that I know personally that have done phenomenal things and are doing phenomenal things on a consistent basis, So it's just it's crazy because we all kind of sat in the same position before or we were on the same alignment as far as like senior or associate level, things of that nature. And you can work with your friend at, let's say, a cell phone store, right? You can work with your friend and y'all both getting money at the cell phone store. But if you go and try to go into business somewhere, or you try to do different things in life, your friends won't align with that for some reason.
Yeah.
So it's funny how they believe it's enough money at a corporation, but it's not enough money when you separate from that corporation.
Because that money is more controlled. Like, that's guaranteed money that's coming every 2 weeks.
Right.
Right. Like, but if you out here growing your business and you hustling, the possibilities are endless. Like, I know that there's only chances that there's only 1 or 2 times a year that you can make more money than me.
Right.
If I'm we working at the same job the what do you call it? The end of the year reviews or whatever.
Right.
When review time comes. So that limits, that mindset of like, oh, well, I mean, they can't win. They can't
competition.
Like, I'm not that, like, yeah. And it's crazy as some people, competition, I feel like sometimes have such a negative notion behind it. But if it's not coming from a place of malice, it's a great thing to help kind of motivate you. Right. Like, it's one of those things where if you are not an insecure person, it could really help you grow your circle, because it could literally be like I have like 2 best friends, right? Like I have a few, but I have 2 that are like my sisters, right? Neither one of these women have never tried to compete with me, right? Nor would they ever try to. But the thing about it though is, with them, it don't matter how much money I'm making, right? To them, I'm still our least, and they're not going to. And it's not in a disrespectful space. It's just like, I'm just still me because I am me at the core. So, but they know if I'm in a space to where I can help them, I help them. Right. So like and that's the thing, because those are the people that I want to, like, if you making money with your friends, who better else to experience life with? Right. Like, cause now it's like, all right, what's this? we gonna take a week off. We going to the Bahamas.
Right.
Y'all coming?
Right.
I already paid for the jet. Y'all coming? And those are the type of things that you want and you really want to be able to experience.
But those are also the most authentic relationships that we value. Mm-hmm. Like Mace and Cameron have a sports show together.
Okay.
And they've been at odds since we all can remember, right? But they started out together. And then just to see them reunite and to do a show, you can just see the magic. Mm-hmm. You know, you can see the magic in someone that you grew up with, or just a real genuine relationship, period. Like when you can see that, you can see it on, you know, we see relationships on the internet all the time, but when you see some people that have been together a long time, they truly love each other. That's something that you really connect with. So it's funny because a lot of times your friends will feel like, or make you feel like you've changed or you've done something differently, but all you're trying to do is just be a better you, go out on your own and be true to yourself. And that's, and a lot of times, you know, people struggle with that. Like, I was listening to Mel Robbins' podcast, and of course, you know, we're scrolling the internet here, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this because I feel like it fits into this conversation that we're having.
Okay.
People pleasing. We have a great question from a listener named Courtney.
Close friends don't like the new me. I'm just wondering if other people have discovered that a lot of times once you kind of enter a world of more self-love, if you feel a sense of rejection.
When you start putting yourself first.
So what do you think?
Oh, I love that. And the two friends that I'm mentioning, right? They are really good at understanding. Well, I will even say this. We both, like in both relationships, understand like you got a life outside of me. Right. Like I know you're going to change. I know you're going to grow. Like one of them just got married. Now you're so I'm not going to invite you to come out here for this 7-day trip knowing you got a husband and kids at home, like, because you're no longer that friend. So I respect the new path that you're on in life, right? So it's just like when you, and even the other friend, she went to school, she was focused, like she wasn't able to be a friend in certain spaces, but that didn't discount, because when we did get together, we picked back up right where we left off at, right? And then even for me growing into the different spaces, like they are so dope at reminding me, like, I see your growth, girl. Like, that's great. Like, I remember at a point in time, you would have just popped off. And like, now you're like, well, I'm going to do this. And it's just like, they really, really like, I'm proud of who you becoming. So it's just like the fact that they can see my growth and they appreciate my growth. And even like you and I was talking, right? Like I'm telling you my intentions and you're like, sis, it sounds like you have great management. And I was like, bro, I was never there before. Right. So just like having people to remind you, I feel like of those changes, those are the people you need. The ones that in a good space remind you. The ones that feel defensive by it are the ones you need to eliminate, because they're trying to now hold you in the space of who you were before, because they benefit from it in whatever space.
But what if I feel guilty?
I'm not feeling guilty for who me like. But
what if
if you feel guilty, then I would say if you're doing it and you feel guilty, it's working, because you're starting to feel the change, right? Because when you did it before, it was fine. So if you start feeling it like, oh dang, I'm not there, it's just like you're gonna get over it, because you're gonna be okay with putting that boundary there, because you're gonna be like, listen, if I don't do this for me and for my business, or I'm going to fail me and my business by trying to continue to be the person you want me to be. And if you feel offended by that, hey, go in the corner, figure that out, and then you come back to me. Like, I cannot be responsible for how you feel about my change. Only you could do that, because you're projected in some way, form, or fashion. Now, if, like, say, for instance, if it was something and maybe the way I delivered it or what have you, then, you know, I can be accountable for that. But if you just feel like me telling you, like, sis, don't ask me to go anywhere for the next 90 days, And it's like, oh, you change. You think you this and you think it. I do think I'm that. Why don't you think that about yourself?
Right.
Like I can't feel bad that you haven't got there yet.
Yeah, I mean, when you make the actual changes, when you show the actual changes, right? I think it's easier. It's easy for people to see it, but a lot of times people don't see the change, right? And I'm scouring the internet, and Tab.
Oh yeah,
Auntie Tab is a beautiful spirit, and she was saying this, and I think this really should connect with most people who are trying to self-improve, entrepreneurs, or just people who are chasing some type of change, right? Whether it could be weight loss, it could be more salary, it could be a litany of things. But if you're trying to grow, it should show.
Right. Okay, Bars.
Hello there. Honey, y'all all right? So real quick. Now I'm only going to say this to you because I love you. And we got to hold each other accountable, right? Your dreams and your actions, they're not in alignment. What'd you say, Tab? I said your dreams
I love her.
and your actions, they're not in alignment. You doing things that don't make no sense for the dreams that you have. You're not in alignment. You got some amazing dreams, but the things you doing, it ain't lining up. If somebody who didn't know you is just to look at your life right now and look at your actions, they wouldn't have no idea that you have the dreams you have. It's time to line them up. You gotta line them up. Listen, people should be able to see you, right? And not know you, but know what your dream is. Do you understand? It's time to stop being scared. It's time to stop hiding. It's time to stop running.
Yeah.
It's time to get in alignment with the things that you know you are called to do, the dream that you have inside of you. It's time to get in alignment with how to make it happen.
So sometimes you got to look at yourself when your friends are still asking you to do some of the things of old as well. I think that's like the hard conversation that's never had is we're always like, well, they don't want me to win, or they don't see me, or they don't respect my business, or whatever the case may be. And we often tell ourselves a lot of lies, but what are you doing to exhibit that you are a business person? Because just the other day you was calling me to come over for March Madness, right? Right. Or the playoffs is coming up in the NBA, and you talking about what bar we gonna watch it at and all of this. But you said you got your business. You said you on your grind, or you said you on a diet, but we was just out drinking the other night. Like, it's not your friends, it's you.
Very much so.
Right? So, what can someone do to identify if it's them or if it's them?
That tough conversation in the mirror. Like, something I truly pride myself on is having a conversation with myself before anybody else does. So, quick story. So I was telling you, right, like how the gentleman helped me today. He helped me bring something to my door, and I offered him some coffee.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You don't invite anybody to your house?" And I was like, "Oh no, I was going to bring you coffee from Starbucks."
Right.
And literally after he said it, I was like, "Oh my God, it definitely sound like that." Like, so then, I shared the story with you, my father. My father was like, "Wait, but it sounded like yes." I know. I said, because once I thought about it and I said it out loud, like, oh, I can definitely see how that came across. So it just like, if a lot of times for me, I feel like if I can't hold myself accountable, if I can't self-check myself, then, there's something wrong. If I cannot reflect and see like where I am falling short on things, then, like it's not going to, I can't grow for me, right? Me personally, because I am a very like, I'm a thinker, right? I'm an analyzer. So I do a lot of reflecting. So it's just like, okay, like, when I did my fast, right?
Right.
I did my fast for a week when I literally was like, girl, you did it. Like, I didn't think that I would be able to do it because I knew it would be hard. You know, I love food.
Right.
So, but it was just like, in that moment, like in that process of like sitting down and thinking, eating my kale salad, I literally was like, you know what? It's not that I can't do this.
Right.
I sometimes put such a big goalpost that it makes it difficult. But because I put something that's a little more sustainable in front of me first, now it's like, girl, you've been tripping all this time, thinking you can't do this and this. You're making your goals too big. Yeah. So now it makes it feel like you don't have the discipline. It makes you feel like you don't have the drive for it. It makes you feel like, so literally it was just like, okay, no, I can do this. Now I need to step back and figure out what it looks like with that more sustainable goalpost. And it's like, oh my God, I could do it. Right. And I had that conversation, and then a couple days later I was talking to my cousins and it was like, girl, you did it. And I was like, thank you. I did it, right?
Yeah, but you've also had past failures that have led you to the point of success, right?
Oh, of course.
And sometimes when you have these conversations with yourself, right, you can't be overly critical either. No. Right? Because if you're failing, if you're bumping into things, I always feel like you got to be doing something right? Of course. And I think we may have said this, or Justin said this actually to me. He said the difference between you who failed 300 times and the person who failed 3 times is going to be astronomical. You know,
you learn so much more.
Right. So I was obviously scrolling the internet. I done said this a couple times. This may be the name of this episode.
Right. But wait, hold on. There was something I wanted to add to Auntie Tab, like before I forget my train of thought real quick. Like I could have literally had like a whole like stomping moment right there, because when the group of friends that I have here, when we go somewhere, they're like, you got your content? You good? Like, yeah. Because I make it to a point where I get it and then I put it to the side, right? But the fact that they know that, right? And that they're rooting for me. Like, did you get it? You good? You need me to take your pictures? Like, the fact that they do that is so amazing, right? Because they see that my actions are aligning with my dreams, and they're holding me accountable while cheering me on. So, like, when she said that, I'm just like, oh my God, like those, like, I'm going to like spin the block on after hearing that and just let them know how much I appreciate them, because a lot of times, first thing they say, you got your content? You good? Like, make sure you get your content. You need me to take your picture? Like, that right there means so much. And the fact that because they see me doing it and being intentional with my growth, my business, and my dream, and that they're contributing to it and they're making sure that I'm doing it too. So amazing.
I can see how energizing that could be. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I don't want to let the team down. Although it's for you, you know, the fact that others are supporting you and rooting for you, it just sets a fire inside you. But how do you handle when things don't work in the time that you expected, right?
So it's so funny because even though like I have goals, and I like to, so I have what I call ideal time frames, right? Ideally, I want to get there, but if I don't, I'm okay with that because I'm such a spiritual person. I'm like, it must just not be my time yet.
I knew you were going to say that. Let me play this clip.
The devil say yes fast. That comment section. Sometimes God's time is a blessing and a curse, because the curse is he give you a bunch of no's. The devil say yes fast. That's why a lot of people in the end end up falling out. Because when God finally do give you that yes,
that's right,
it's for eternity.
And you're going to be prepared for it.
You're going to be prepared. That's God. The devil make you shine in the beginning and fall at the end.
Bro, you trying to have me cry on this Sunday? Don't do that. I'm not a cute crier. But yeah, that's like, so that is literally my thought process. And like, even though I have things that don't go the way I want, I I don't necessarily look at it as like failures anymore. I look at it as like learning posts. Like I was supposed to learn something. Okay, I learned this. Now I know. Like
Right.
Like going on vacation, right? Being intentional with that. Every morning and this is already a part of my daily regimen anyway. I do my verse of the day. But what I learned is even just on this trip that I'm like, I need to adapt this behavior and kind of keep the mindset when I'm home. When I start my day, I literally was like, all right, I need to post. What time do I want to post? What do I want to post? Schedule it and I'm done.
Right.
Like that type of thing to where it's already done, is taken care of. So it's just kind of like, wow, this is cool. I like this, the fact that I feel this way. So it's just like when things don't go the way I wanted to, it's like, it's okay. It wasn't supposed to go that way. Yeah. But in that space, what did I learn? Like, I felt like I got that mindset, like 4 years ago when I started therapy. Like literally it was just like, my therapist was like, we never know what lesson we're supposed to learn because we too busy on trying to figure out when the storm going in rather than be in the storm, live in it,
right,
and figure out what you're supposed to be figuring out in the midst of it. It's not discounting the fact that you're going through it. You know you're going through it. Go through it. But as you go through it, grow in it as well. Like figure out what am I supposed to do or learn or take away from this time.
Yeah.
And literally that's how I kind of,
that's so much easier said than done though, right?
Yeah. But you have to be okay with
like we were talking about it, and I am cutting you off.
No,
I'm not gonna say sorry to cut you off, but because I am just cutting you off. But we were talking about it off like people say they want to, and I think the ultimate self-improvement journey is when you try to start a business for yourself, whether it's successful or not. It really brings out who you are. Definitely. Right? You really have to get in tune with yourself. You really have to say, well, man, I'm lazy. I need to go back to this 9 to 5 because I don't want to do all of this by myself. So, but even knowing that, that journey, when people start journeys of trying to be an entrepreneur, trying to do this on the side, I feel like we really underestimate the effort that it takes. We really underestimate the amount of focused, mental, physical time that it's really going to take to build something that is starting to generate revenue. Even if you have your marketing has to be on point. Your product has to be it. Like that takes a lot of time too to get the right product, and then to market that well, to actually create value, right? Because you could have some people who have good products and good ideas, and they never reach the milestones of financial freedom or even just being able to sustain themselves away from a job.
Right? Ooh, yeah.
And I just feel like that's underestimated a lot as far as like what it really takes to win. Right? And not even in the manner that you think you should win.
Right.
But just winning, right? Like there's a level of focus that is not really talked about. You got to, in order to grow something, you got to really give it the time that it needs. Growing plants, helping your child develop the right way. Like there's caring and nurturing that your business needs to take on a life of its own, and to go and run off and just do what it's supposed to do with or without you.
Yeah. I would say first, like when it comes to effort, that is probably one of the most topics like of discussion that no one really goes into, because being an entrepreneur is very much glorified. Like no one talks about like the effort and the sacrifice, right? Like the things that you have to like not do for yourself or have to take away time from. But even with that, like if you're not intentional, like it it could not be great for you or your business, one. But effort, oh my goodness, like if you are not, and I'll just say this, my personal opinion, right? My perspective. If you are not okay with pulling all-nighters when you get excited about something, that's probably not it for you.
Right.
Because the amount of effort it takes to like, it have been so many times where I've restarted movies because I had an idea and I would pause it and then I would start something, then I would put it down, put my phone down or close my laptop, then I think of something and I pause the movie again, like, because it's just like you get an idea, it's like you don't realize how much effort that actually takes. Like I literally just bought a desktop because I'm like, okay, I don't want to just sit in my bed and work on my laptop when I have an idea, because when I get into this mode or when I'm editing, like I got the Final Cut Pro, so when I'm editing my videos, like, no, I want to do this, I want to learn this, like I'm so eager to see, like I'm like, oh, I'm excited, like, and I know, and it's crazy because when we come back, we gonna talk about it. I know I'm gonna do an all-nighter, like playing with that and learning, and because I'm excited, and the amount of effort and brain power that is going to take to learn it, to retain it, and to figure out ways how to apply it, that's not easy.
Yeah, I've interviewed, small business owner Mr. Cliff, who owns the Jerk Center in Florida, right? Mm-hmm. And he's been number 1 14 years for Caribbean food in a Greek town. And one of the things he mentioned was he was a crane operator.
Oh, right? Like a factory?
He was just a crane operator for years before he started a business. And he jumped into business. He was like, I knew nothing about owning or operating a restaurant.
Okay.
The craziest thing is, like, most people don't know anything about owning or operating a business unless you came from your parents owning a business or somebody in your family actually owning a business. So a lot of entrepreneurs are first-time business owners and operators.
Yeah.
And he was talking about it, for the first 4 or 5 years, he wasn't even profiting. So he's selling food, people are paying him, and he's about to go out of business in a month or a year or two or something like that. And that's the thing that I think people don't really understand, is that it takes a while to get your footing. For some, it seems like it happens overnight, which we talked about, right? You can shine immediately, and then that light will get real dim quick, right? We see that with
because like the one hit wonder.
Yeah,
wonders.
Jaquan.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
Wait, no, I was thinking about Chingy.
No, Jaquan, and I'm sure most of my listeners, unless you're older, you won't remember this, but
Ting drinking is very bad. Yo, I got a fake ID though.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
So it's things like that where, like, that song was crazy. He may have had another song, but outside of that, where did you see him again?
Yeah.
I mean, perfect example in today's time, and I actually like him, so I'm not trying to poo-poo on this rapper, but Roddy Ricch. The Box.
He got a couple songs, though.
Right, but The Box was this crazy song. He released the album after that. It didn't do so well. It was a people would call it sophomore slump. I just think it just wasn't what people expected, right? You set a bar and then it's hard to reach it again. I mean, that's why someone like a Drake is so amazing, because Jay-Z had Reasonable Doubt, but most people can't recite the lyrics from Reasonable Doubt outside of a certain population of people.
You mean as like New Yorkers?
I won't even say New Yorkers. I think it was big on the East, but like Jay, Can I Get a certain other songs made Jay-Z a bigger name to them than Reasonable Doubt, the presidents that represent, you know what I mean? Like, like Dead Presidents wasn't that big to them,
No, that makes sense. No, that definitely makes sense.
And you know, so somebody who's now worth $2.5 billion, arguably the greatest rapper ever, wasn't the best when he started this thing.
Oh, of course
You
not.
know, and people just, if you are starting something new or trying to improve, I think the biggest win is what you do daily instead of what you try to do monthly or weekly or envision for yourself yearly, right? If you compound enough days, the ball will get rolling. And one of the hardest things to stop is something that has momentum.
Yeah, very much so. That's tying back into what I said when I was trying to make these big goals, like me trying to fast and only eat raw for 30 days.
Right.
It's ridiculous knowing how much I love a good crab leg. Like, come on, sis. Like, what was you thinking?
Yeah.
So it's just like in that week's time. And not only that, I also found something that I like.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I feel like sometimes we don't do the research or we don't try things like to see, like, to the point where, like, I posted it on TikTok. I had mad people asking me, what you put in that? That looked good.
It did look good.
I'll make you some. But like, even it's so funny. I have a pregnant girlfriend right now. Like, I made some for her and she is picky. And she was like, oh, I like this. I was like, well, damn. I need a bag of this up and sell it. Like, but it's just
I
like,
always told you that though.
that what to cook.
You've been missing your calling.
I
said it here so you know people can see it.
My other homegirl be saying that too. She be telling me all the time, you need to open a restaurant. I'm like, girl, I can show you how to make these grits. Stop playing.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Okay,
Yeah.
but yeah. So to your
I
point,
tried the mac and cheese. I want.
Everybody loves my mac and cheese.
Yeah, I tried to make some mac and cheese. I took your advice, and the mac and cheese turned out cheesy.
But it wasn't.
But it was you know, it was missing the egg, and the things didn't connect the way that they should have.
You didn't have.
But you know what? I'm not giving up. As you know, I'll try it again. But at the same time,
you didn't have the money shot.
I didn't have you. Like sometimes when you're good at stuff, you're good at stuff too.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we actually randomly segued into that. But if you know somebody that's great at something when you're starting out your business, when I'm interviewing people who have done things in their fitness journey who are inspiring me, but I'm asking the questions. I just did an episode with Steve where, he lost weight jumping rope, but I was asking him the right questions, and he talked about asking the right questions of himself. Like, why can't I do this? Like, why is my shoulder feeling this way? Or, why is my leg falling asleep when I sit too long? And he was like, he went to the doctors, but then he went to specialists, and he got acupuncture, and he did yoga. And it's all of these pieces to a puzzle sometimes come together when you go to specialists.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe it's a mentor that you need because you're not hitting numbers. Or maybe it's your homegirl who you got to sit down with and talk about how she didn't give you all the ingredients that you probably needed to make that. I'm joking, but like I called you when I was trying to, make something to eat that I wasn't familiar with. Like it's okay to reach out to somebody who has done it before.
Yeah. But even that, right? I feel like in our culture, we are so sure of ourselves that we don't need help.
Right. And that's a problem.
It is. Because if you are not able to, I remember last year for Essence Festival, we went to this event, and I cannot think of his name right now, but I ran into an entrepreneur that's pretty big, and he's really good with his marketing, right? And we was talking, and I was like, oh my God, I've been following your brand for a long time. Him and another really big brand influencer, and I was telling him, like, I saw the thing you did. I was like, I would really love you if you could just be my mentor, like just drop things on me every now and again or what have you. And I remember just later on that evening, my homegirl was just like, sis, you are so bold. Like, I don't think I would have been able to ask him. I'm like, why? Because you were afraid he would tell you no? And she's like, well, I mean, I was like, but that's the beauty of it. Either he's going to tell me yes or he's going to tell me no. And I'm okay with being, and I guess in a sense is rejection, but I'm okay with being rejected. Because in so many ways, either it's not supposed to be for me, he's not supposed to be for me, or whatever is not supposed to align. So you telling me no or rejecting me, okay, like that's not going to make me feel away, because it's just like, all right, but I have the courage to ask, and if you don't give it to me, somebody will, right? True. And I'm okay with that. Like, closed mouths don't get fed though. They don't. So, and I'm hungry. No, yeah, like if you really want it, why not? Most of the people that we know, most of the people that we've seen, I think his name's Lewis Howe, who has the School of Greatness. Mm-hmm. He just released a book. I don't know the name of the book, but he went around doing a press run, right? And he was on podcast. He was on like I'm about to name drop crazy here, but he was on Bigger Pockets podcast. He was on Andy Frisella's podcast. He was on The Breakfast Club. Okay. Right? Like he was really running around promoting this book, and I think he was even about to do something with ESPN to promote his book. But in his pretty much dialogue that he gives in every speech, and it's different for each platform. He curated it differently, but he always talks about how he got his start with a mentor, and he did it for free. He was sleeping on somebody's couch, and he was just like, how do I make money? He got a mentor for that. And then he said he had a mentor for, speaking engagements. He got a mentor for this. And he was just like, every time that he wanted to do something, he was willing to put in the work. But the way that he sped up his process was being able to reach out to these people who've done it before, and being willing to either pay or work for free or do whatever it takes to just get the time, get an hour on their calendar. You know what I mean? Alex Hormozy, who's a young entrepreneur that I follow as well, and he's everywhere. He talks about it like, it doesn't always have, if it's somebody from our culture or if it's somebody who looks like you who's not willing to help you, find somebody who don't look like you too. Yeah. Like, don't limit yourself to this person has to know my, I guess you could say racial background, right? Like, no, business and earning money can be taught by anybody who's done it before. Yeah, totally. I totally agree. In that mentor thing, I would have never got into tech if it wasn't for my mentor, Royal. Every job that I've gotten that have elevated me, it was because he opened the door for me to walk through it. So, like, I give him all the praises all the time. He is so amazing, because not only does he guide you, he listens. Like, he is literally my career's godfather. Like, I would not be where I'm at in my career, not my bit. Even honestly, I can give him a little bit of credit for my business, because the things that I've learned in my career has helped me in my business journey. So the fact that having a mentor is so impactful and powerful. Yeah. It is, oh my goodness. I wouldn't know you. Because he got me the job to get me relocated. He opened that door. Wow. And because of the different relationships he's built, I've been able to benefit from that. And literally how they always say, you don't want just someone that will open the doors for you. You also want someone to mention your name in rooms when you're not there. So it's just like, okay, I told you what I want to do, where I'm at. So now it's like, if he comes across someone and they're looking for that, he's now mentioning my name. Wow. And not only that, I have given him the bullets to go to war for me, because he set the platform up, and I've elevated from it. So it's like, it's not like he just opened the door and I just sat there. Like, no, I got it in, I got that thing moving. Yeah. So now it's just like, now he definitely don't mind opening that door, because he sees that when he give it to me, I'm going to get exactly. Yeah. So when you have the right people that open the door for you, and literally all it took for me to say is, I want to do this. And And from my understanding, he told me like years down the line, he kind of like asked around, like, what's her work ethic? Like, what's this?
Right.
And when he did that, my brand spoke for itself.
Right.
And it was just like, I'm like, oh my goodness, that whole thing, people watching and you don't even know it.
Right.
Can it speak? Can your action speak for itself without you doing the actual just?
I'll say my just to piggyback off of that, my work ethic has kept me at jobs when I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. Because, like you could tell my brand of being a hard worker was there, but it's like, what's up with this guy? What's going on? And oftentimes when I've gotten written up, I've gotten told like, which I mean, maybe other people haven't, but I've gotten told this, like, you're a good worker, but you're lacking here.
Right.
And a lot of, oftentimes me taking that criticism and working on that has kept me in these jobs, right? Like never getting eliminated from these positions, but my work ethic has never really been a thing that ever came into question.
Right.
And I've seen a lot of people say this, man, and we talked about it earlier, so it won't be the dead horse, but if you are not killing, I wouldn't say killing at your job, if you're not going hard at your job, even if other people may not see it, but you feel like you're going hard and really having a conversation with yourself, like,
right,
man, I'm giving this a lot of effort. I'm putting in time here. I'm working hard here. You're not going to win if you're trying to do it on your own. Yeah,
no, you definitely need a support system. I feel like in this journey, this specific journey and my growth journey, what I've learned within like the last couple of years, especially like during my like do not disturb, is having a really good support system.
You stay fasting.
Oh yeah,
you fast from people.
Hello,
food, places, things.
You name it, I can.
All nouns.
Hello. Because if I felt like it was holding me back from something, I'm gonna cut it off. Because I need to be able to figure out what about this thing is keeping me back. So very much so, yeah, I don't got no problem fasting.
Hey.
Yeah. But I just been fasting from the gym, and I don't know why.
If you learned anything from Rich Auntie,
I've been fasting from the gym.
Fast from anything that's not for you. If you like this episode that we're doing, in the meantime, between the interviews that we do, please let us know in the comments. Please let us know. Period. Leave a review. If you don't like it, leave a review. Leave a comment.
Very much so.
Any last words?
I will say 2 things. In the morning, if you can, spend 5 minutes or however long it takes you, right? If you have the bandwidth, to be intentional with your day. To set an ideal goal, and here I say ideal because nothing is perfect, right? Set an ideal goal, and have the conversation with yourself before you leave. I mean, before you go to bed at night, to kind of reconnect with yourself. Like, hey, how did it go, right? Like, be your own accountability partner, but be intentional, because those two are going to go hand in hand with your growth. And the second thing is support system. If you do not have a support system in the different realms of your life, it don't have to be the same person, because the same person may not be able to fulfill all those different realms. But get you a really good support system, whatever that looks like for that specific time frame, or even long term. Get you a really good support system, because I'm pretty sure they will help get you to your next level.
I like that. I mean, I think we out, man. I was looking for something to ride out to. I couldn't find anything, so let's just.
All I do is win, no matter what.
We are gone. Keep it uplifting.
Did they play that last night? I feel like they played it.
Make sure to like, comment, share, and most importantly, keep it uplifting.
Take it up, listen.